So you're good to go, Chair.
Right, okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Thanks very much for coming along to the meeting. Welcome to the meeting, Woodley Town Council's Planning and Community meeting, held today on the 21st of July, 2026. Woodley Town Council meetings are now recorded, streamed live and stored on the Town Council's YouTube channel. By virtue of attending the meeting, you consent to having your image and audio recorded for this purpose. If you do not wish your image and audio to be recorded, then please do not stay for the meeting. For those in attendance, we're not expecting a fire drill tonight, so if you hear the fire alarm, please head to the nearest fire exit and congregate at the fire assembly point by the Oakwood Centre at the front of the Woodland Park. Thank you. Right. First item on the agenda is apologies. We'll go through the apologies.
Yes, we have apologies from councillors Guttridge, Horskins, Lewis and Sartorial. Councillor Horskins is attending the meeting virtually.
Thanks very much. And do we have any declarations of interest?
I will only mention that I have spoken to a shop owner that backs onto the first application.
For the
Change of windows upstairs.
Okay. You've spoken to him.
But I've just spoken to him and he asked me to look at the application. I haven't been back to him.
Right.
I've told him that, to put a comment, any comments on the Wokingham site.
Okay, that's no problem. Thank you very much. Okay, now, an item not on the agenda, but we will bring it straight away, so that we can allow these gentlemen to enjoy the sunshine, or I'm not sure which. Welcome to Andy Glencross from Wokingham Borough Council and to Councillor Mark Ashwell from Wokingham Borough Council. They're going to talk about the proposals for relating to Ashbury Park. So away you go.
Might close it up to the mic.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. So some of you will be aware that we've been doing some works up at Ashbury Park for the last couple of years. We started that process about 2 years ago by improving the biodiversity of the park as part of our biodiversity net gain pilot project. And last year, the council agreed a proposal to start the development of Ashbury Park into more of a country park location. So the first evidence of that is that we have this year invested about £200,000 in improving the footpath network at the park. You will see that it's nearly finished. For those people who've seen online, people complaining about the finish, it's not actually finished yet. There is a final covering to go on that will make it exactly the same as the paths we've just put in at Dinton. That investment is in that bid was funded through the introduction of car parking charges. Now, we're not introducing the full level of country park car parking charges because we acknowledge that the park itself is not yet at the standard of our other country parks. So it doesn't have a cafe, it doesn't have a toilet block or any of those kind of facilities that the others do still. But we are introducing a small charge, which is a £2.50 all-day charge at that car park at the existing car park at Ashbury Park. And that money will be used to fund that £200,000 investment in the footpaths and the other improvements to the site. Now, the site will also be transferring out of the grounds maintenance contract. So it's currently to date, it's been maintained by Tivoli Nurture, our grounds maintenance contractor, and looked after by the cleaner and greener teams. As part of this development, the site will now be transferring over to the Countryside Service, who manage Dinton Pastures. I think you might see some differences in the responsiveness of how we deal with issues up there, because generally the difference between our contracted management and our Countryside Service is that the contract is a contracted out contractor who comes in and does the grass cutting, whereas the Countryside Service is all in-house. And we are a bit better at, I think, doing that community engagement bit. So we have more staff who will engage with the public about problems they see on site or things they'd like to see on site, that kind of stuff. So I expect you to see a little bit of a change of approach in that overall management. Lastly, I suppose we are, in order to introduce those car parking charges, we have to go through a statutory process, which is called a traffic regulation order. And that involves a statutory 21-day public consultation. And also, the town council will be approached directly anyway, as will all the ward councillors. And we thought that before you see that in the press or get an email, we ought to come and talk to you about it and warn you that it was coming. Now, that's been reasonably challenging because of the tight timescales to get these things done. But we have just about got here before the TRO goes public. We're expecting the TRO to go public on the 29th of July, which is a week Friday, isn't it? I think a week Wednesday, something like that. So the reason for Mark and I to be here is just to reassure you that this is part of a project that is supporting local investment and improvements for the park. I appreciate not everyone likes car parking charges, but I think we can say here that this isn't something, we're not just taking the income and hope and benefiting from that. We're actually providing quite a lot of local investment improvement to a local facility. And then the other thing is just to ask you, to see if you have any questions you want to ask us about it, or any comments you want or clarifications you need from us now. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, just quickly adding to that, I mean, I think this is real creative thinking in the fact that without the car parking charges coming in to actually pay for these improvements that we put in up front, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So I think this is looking beyond the box, and we've actually got the £200,000 up front, and then a bit like, I suppose, a toll road. We pay for it as we go, so we can enjoy it as we go. Super.
Okay. Yes, David.
Personally, I think by doing that, you're taxing people on their leisure. I think it's unjust. As you've just said, there's nothing at Ashtonbury Park at the moment other than the pathway you've just built to attract people in. When you get a country club up, a restaurant, cafe, toilet blocks, maybe it's something else where the family can go for the whole day. But to charge £2.50 charging there for people to go and have a leisurely walk around the park, taking their dog for a walk, is diabolical.
That wasn't a question.
I'm sorry, all right.
No, it's all right. I mean, I fundamentally disagree with your statement, but that certainly wasn't a question.
Yeah. But certainly from my point of view, I am totally against it.
You'll be reacting to the consultation. Good man.
Is there a free period?
There is so we acknowledge that the car park is used for drop off the school, and we'll put in as part of the TRO a 15-minute grace period, so you won't get any problems with the first 15 minutes. What we do routinely at our country parks anywhere, where they use similar things like the scout drop, things like that. Not about penalising parents dropping off and picking up kids. It's about trying to develop a visitor.
Yeah, I'll go to Robert first. He's had his hand up. Robert.
Thanks, just pressing my button. Thank you. This is all very interesting, but it would have been useful if, and thank you for coming tonight. I think it would have been useful if this information had got out to the public before the path was started. I know we knew that the path was going to have that finish like Dinton Pastures has, but I don't believe we knew there was going to be a grace period. Then when we heard it was going to be 30 minutes, now you say it's going to be 15 minutes. So my question to you is, why was this information not put out before the path works was begun? Explaining how the money's been raised, explaining how much it was going to cost. And my other question to you is, what happens once you've covered that £200,000? Where will the money be going from the car parking then? Thank you.
So I think the answer to the question is that it hasn't been a secret how we're funding this. I was answering questions last November on this, and we were very clear that this is how it's funded at the council's overview and scrutiny meeting in November. So I appreciate we didn't put a press release out it, but it's always been clear that that's how that project would be funded. In terms of what we do with the income once we finish paying for the footpaths, what we've done on the assumptions around the financial modelling are it's like a 20-year payback on the 200 grand. But what I would think is that, what I'd like to see is developing business cases going forward for further investment in that park to bring it up to standard. We might look at, for instance, putting in that toilet block, putting in that sort of cafe facility, but we need to have a business plan to do it. It's no secret that the Borough Council is not flush with cash. And, these kind of facilities, if they're going to be improved, we need to find a way of securing that investment. And that's likely be through some kind of commercial returns.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's upgrading Ashenbury Park, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy's already said that, that there is a difference between our countryside services and our other services. So, you're going to see it in spade loads as we go along.
I think the footpaths, people always say that, it's just a footpath. But, I remember I put in the Greenway at California Country Park a few years ago, and there was a bit of local opposition to that at the time. That has been so transformative to the local area that, you go there in the weekend and people are just walking up and down the path and using it. And it has really, really changed the way that California Country Park is used. And I do think, I know there'll be some criticism about how it's funded. I accept that. Not everyone wants to see that. But I think the investment in the facilities and the upgrade to the footpaths is going to be transformative to how people use Ashenbury Park, especially in the winter, and especially for those with mobility issues. Because, let's make no secret about it. If you're in a wheelchair, you're not getting far around Ashenbury at the moment, are you? Because, the paths are just too muddy or too uneven. So I think you have to be thinking about that. That's why I'd ask you.
Thank you.
First question is, have you considered how long it will take to make the profit?
So that's so
Sorry,
what we did was
let me finish the questions. It's better because otherwise. And the second thing is there is a picking up and dropping off for the vendors.
Yeah.
Right. So there is any alternate, or because how my colleague has said, used by the dog walkers as well, and these all are. So there is any separate arrangement, or you're managing anything separating that one? And the third one is it the 200,000 is the initial year cost, or it will cost more on whatever year? And how you're maintaining the kit, and what's you need installing, and these all are, everything is included in that one?
So I'll take the first one. So I think the way in which we're funding the £200,000 investment, and £200,000 is the total cost of the footpaths. It's around 200,000, about 210,000, I think exactly. But that's the full investment on the upgrade to the footpaths. It covers everything. So there won't be any more expenditure on that bit. The way it's funded is we have borrowed that money over a 20-year period, effectively, and we have an MR, so a minimum repayment and an interest repayment. And what we've done
is it with the interest of the 21 years?
Okay.
Is it with the interest and whatever?
Exactly. So what we're saying is with the current income, we think is going to be enough to pay back the repayment of the capital and the interest rate for that period as well. And it is always a bit of an estimate how much car parking income you're going to make on any site. So it is a bit of a broad brush approach, but reasonably robust. And what was the other question? The second one, I think. The drop off.
The drop off.
Yeah. So Wayne, we'll have a situation like we do. We have a lot of similar situations are California and at Dinton, where we have the scout groups dropping off and picking up kids in the evening or in the morning, and they then there's a grace period whereby they won't be ticket if they don't have a parking ticket effect for 15 minutes. So it allows the parents to drop off or pick up their kids without having to get a ticket, pay that parking charge.
Okay.
And it works quite well at Dinton and California already. Yeah.
Okay, Carol.
Thank you. Just an observation that I think we might get some very fast dog walkers who want to get a bit of free parking. No, but seriously, two questions. Is it £2.50 a visit or £2.50 all day is the first question. And the second one is, what are the limitations on developing the site because of the methane base, because it was a landfill
Yeah.
site?
So it's £2.50 a day charge. You know, if you've got a ticket with your registration, register for that day, it's registered for that day.
So
I don't think, yeah, no one's going to check with you. It'll just show on our system you have a ticket, even if you come back and. So it is a daily fee. The restrictions, there are some restrictions because we had to do some special surveys when we did. Strangely enough, there were some restrictions on where we could do tree planting because of the cap being above the waste sites. I think there are some restrictions. There are definitely some restrictions on building anything on the actual domed bit of the waste site. But I don't think that's the car park end. The actual domed waste bit is the other end, isn't it? The bit around the car park, I don't think ever was a part of the waste site. So if we were to, for instance, think about developing, enlarging the car park or something, or putting a toilet block in, or that seems to be eminently doable at that end of the site, although I haven't looked into it formally yet. I would say that probably the next thing, one of the things I'm really excited about, and this may be just me, so bear with me a little bit, right? So what I've seen with us do at Dinton is really up our game in terms of events and bringing people into sites to do. We had Marvellous this weekend at Dinton Pastures, but we've really upped our game in terms of other events at the site. And I know that that's because we're looking at a commercial return, but it is a win-win because, you know, we are bringing a lot more people into those country parks and are enjoying family events. And that, to me, is the big opportunity at Ashenbury. We have an events field there. You know, I'm already struggling with, for instance, the fun fair or the circus coming to Dinton because, you know, we can only put, you know, we put an event on where that circus is, they damage the grass. And really, we need some time to rest those areas. And what I'm thinking is actually Ashenbury is perfect for a sort of fun fair, a circus event, all those kind of, maybe a small food festival. And that to me is the really exciting thing is because we can bring those events in, and rather than having to pay for the events, we're generating their income through the car parking so that we can actually improve the usage of a local facility and make it a bit more of a destination. So sorry if I went on a long answer, but that's me being excited.
Yes, and building on that, we need to liaise with you as a town council, probably better than we're doing at the moment. And this is an opportunity potentially to develop Ashenbury together. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, David.
This question is.
Okay, thank you.
I must admit, I don't go to Ashenbury very often. In fact, the last time I went was probably about 18 months ago. I tend to spend most of my time in Woodford Park. But last time I went there, the car park itself was a dirt track with lots of potholes. I don't know whether that's been relayed over the period, but my question is, if you're going to charge car parking charges, people don't want to have to drive over potholes to pay £2.50. So it's going to need resurfacing of the whole area. How much is that going to cost?
I don't know the actual figure, but what I would say is that what I notice is that the car parks at California and Dinton are in good repair. And they're in good repair because they are generating income from car parking. So I think, you know, I get that it's some bits of the car park currently aren't in a great state. I mean, there is half of it is an unmade up car park and half of it is tarmac. The tarmac section's not too bad, actually. It's all right. But, you know, this is the thing, is if we're going to make this site a bit more of a country park and a bit more of a destination, then we will be forced into investing to ensure those assets are up to standard. And you're absolutely right. This is what happened at California Country Park. I mean, I've been with the council that has built it probably 33 years, and I remember, you know, since 3 years, exactly. That, you know, but California, for years and years, we had an unmade up car park, and we had a lovely business in the summer because, you know, people like the California Country Park. It's a beautiful location. But come the winter, no one wanted to go there in the winter, and no one wanted to go there after dark because they couldn't, apart from the potholes, you couldn't see the puddles that they were walking through. So I think that, you know, that's part of our, you know, our modernisation of our assets effectively. And if, you know, we're not going to be able to invest loads of money from our own coffers because we simply don't have it, and we need to find a way of making these facilities fund themselves effectively so that we can make them bring the standards up.
Yeah, and it's a way for our sort of Woodley community, and I have a business in Woodley, so I'm part of the community, to actually just step over the line at £2.50 a visit. You know, I think, you know, that's a good way of sort of saying we mean business at Ashenbury Park.
I mean, that is fair comment, but you still haven't given me an estimate of cost.
I'm trying not to. What I can do, if you like, is I can have a chat with our highways design team and get you an estimate of what I think it is.
I would be grateful.
Because I think it always comes down to what, I mean, because I think the tarmac section is okay. It's probably just relining, to be honest with the tarmac. There's a few potholes around the entrance barrier. I think we need to do the entrance barrier a bit better because I think that needs replacing. But then there's an area which is sort of unmade up, which probably needs a new surface, and that's probably where most of the money will go. But
okay, I would be grateful if you could get an estimate for me, please.
Just a quick, I've got a question, just quickly. Can we publicise the fact that your fee is actually paying for these parts?
we certainly can say
Put a
that.
sign saying that, you know, thank you.
Yeah. Well, we've had signs up like that at the Country Park over the years.
Yeah,
you know, where
that's just an idea.
we did introduce parking charges at Dinton when I was working there. I did stand on the door and collect the pounds off people as they were going in when we first started.
Sorry.
But yeah, and that's always been the fact. You know, when you look at these kind of facilities, they are non-statutory functions. And, you know, one of the reasons that we had to introduce parking charges and the commercial approach at Dinton was because otherwise these things wouldn't be here now. And I know that because I started that process back in the late 90s of commercialising that, because we were told quite clearly at that time, if you can't make some money, this site won't be here because we can't afford it.
Mm.
Okay, imagine.
You have given some examples of other locations in Barrow, and you have compared it with Ashenbury. Depending upon its location and its past, are you confident or are you hopeful that all plans are realistic and they will bring desired results, including generating income?
Yeah, I think I'm reasonably confident. I think what we see as yeah, one of the issues I'm also a little bit excited about, so again, bear with me, is that, you know, we've seen a real massive uptick in park run recently, and it's a brilliant local event. It's run by volunteers. It's fantastic for health and well-being, and, you know, improving the fitness of the local community. Now there are quite a few around. There's one run at Dinton. There's one at California. I think there's one at Woodford Park. But there's another one. We've been approached by another one in Charville who want to run in Charville, but of course the issue with park runs is always the same, as it, which is how do you stop them causing problems on a Saturday morning parking in resident streets, because there's quite a lot of people. And that's one of my ideas, is actually we could just talk to them about, well, come to Ashenbury and do the park run on a Saturday morning in Ashenbury, because we've got a new path in there, we've got a car park. You know, those people will pay that £2.50 for the hour they're there, and, you know, we'll generate that income. So I think we can do some of those kind of things. Yes, I think we can. I think, again, if we can get the right events in and bring in those kind of things, then yeah, I don't see any problem with generating income.
Mm.
I mean, the big question is, how far can we take Ashenbury? You know, how successful can we be with it? Because, you know, I always talk to people always say to me, oh, yeah, what's the biggest thing that's happened in Woking in the last 15 years? Any guesses?
Regeneration.
We had, 15 years ago, we had 55,000 households in Woking Borough. We now have 72,000 households. That's a 30% increase in population. And, you know, that has an impact on all of these kind of spaces. I mean, we haven't seen much growth in Woodley particularly, but we've seen massive growth in Dinton and at California with all the new houses coming. You know, and we need to sort of spread that out so that we've got more facilities that we can offer to people as a growing population.
Okay. Right, well, thank you very much. I think you can be sure that we're going to be watching very, very closely.
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, we will watch to see that any excesses of money that come from this are staying within the town.
Yeah.
I think that's our concern, you know, as much
Yeah,
as
yeah,
any, we'd like to see, you know, the development, or if you're getting that money in, that it stays within Woodley.
Yeah, this is an opportunity, I think.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you for having us.
Cheers.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, is it your own?
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you very much. See you. Right,
Thank you.
All right, all good, let this man.
See you on Thursday.
See you Thursday, yeah.
Right, okay, we'll carry on with the agenda now as in order, and minutes of the meeting held on the 16th of June 2026. Are you happy that there are two records of that meeting and I can sign them as such? Yeah. So, are there any points that we need to bring up or not on the agenda to relate to those minutes? Okay. Action 5, so this is page 5 on the agenda. I don't know whether there's anything that we need to bring up today.
There's no further updates other than what's on there. No.
Thank you very much. And we come on to item 5, which is current planning applications. And let me just go through. We have those, sorry, current planning applications are on page 7 of the agenda. And again, we have some members of the public here with us tonight, and so that they can also go off and enjoy the lovely weather or go to the pub, we'll bring yours forward. So first of all, we'll deal with application 261436, which is 13 Roxton Road. And this is a household application for a proposed single-storey rear and side extension, first floor extension, an increase in ridge height, internal reconfiguration, facade material changes and alterations to fenestration. We have it here, it's quite a considerable development on this property, and I believe that we have people who wish to speak on this one. Is it any, would you like to speak now?
Yeah, I have put some comments in.
Yes.
The only objection I've got is, if you look at the measurements, it will be actually touching my garage, the brickwork. And then it doesn't allow for the extent, you know, the footings will be 100 mil wider anyway. So they're going to actually undermine my garage, and I'm very concerned that it will come out and falling down. I just think it's too close to the boundary.
Are you saying that there's an inaccuracy on the
I've measured the gap last night, it's 2.5. Ours is the right hand one there, the green door.
right?
The gap from the outside of their wall to the outside of my wall is 2.5, and if you look at the measurement on the left hand side, the garage, I think it's 2.86. That's internal, that's outside to inside.
Yes.
And that doesn't allow for the wall, which there's no measurement on the wall, so I'm looking at that, thinking it's about 200 mil,
Yeah.
which will actually then touching my house, which will then make us attached.
Right.
But also the footing will be undermining mine. Because my foot, we had a rear extension 3 years ago, and I've measured the footings, and they're 150 wide, wider than the brickwork. So obviously, when it was built as a new plot, it doesn't matter. They can build to the boundary, but now I feel it's going to be too close and do structural damage to my property.
Right. I think we should make a note perhaps to clarify that position. I know it's not a planning issue as such, it's building control really, isn't it?
In terms of the
The
footings,
footings.
yeah, and the party wall act requires if you're building
Yeah.
lower, within 3 metres of the boundary and under the existing footings, you need to have party wall agreement.
Previous planning agreed just before we moved in, it had a 200 mm gap from the brickwork. But this one is going to be actually touching, which I mean, they physically can't be done because they will be undermining my footings.
Okay. We may just like that checks, as I say, it really, that
I
comes
don't know
under.
what the recommended minimum or maximum is that you can come to the boundary. I've got no objection with them wanting to extend and make the house bigger. But
No
it's
way of
just I
knowing
don't
if,
want to be touching.
Kevin, knowing if Robin wants to speak now, got no sign of him. So-
This is his camera off.
Right, he's turned it off. Oh, right, okay. Right, that was that your only
That's
concern?
yes, I mean, I am hoping to put some solar panels on the roof later this year, but obviously the height of that, if you look on the photograph,
Yeah.
that's going to be quite a bit higher than my garage.
Yes.
The right hand side, there's looks like another 2 feet of brickwork above the garage sort of thing.
Yeah.
Going to put us in a bit of shadow.
Right. That was yours concern. Yes. Carol.
Yeah, I think looking at some of the comments and things, I think there are some inaccuracies. If there is encroachment onto somebody's property, either underneath in the footings or on top, then they should serve a Section A, which is something saying, I'm going to be over on your side. Do you agree to that? Obviously, there's nothing been said. Which was the party wall comment that Sean that was being made. I think they're just going a bit too far with it, and I think it could be a perfectly good extension without going to the boundary in that way. But that should be highlighted, that's for sure.
Yeah, let me just have a look, see what other ones for 3.6. It's quite, is it within character for the rest of the area, do you think? Because there's a lot of bungalows there, and this is becoming something more than a bungalow, isn't it? Is there
I
any?
think, well, as we can see, we're not very far away from a house, so it depends where house turning into row of bungalows happens.
Yeah,
Few houses down.
there are.
So kind of,
Yeah.
and houses change in size and scale.
Yeah, yes. There's a mixture, isn't it? So. Okay, so I think the concern is over the accuracy of the drawings and the boundary wall. We should make comment on that. But other than that, is there any other objections or concerns that we might have? No other comments? No? Okay, so we will go for approval. We don't approve, we can only make a recommendation or give our views, but we will go with that, but making note of the comments that you've made, make that known to the borough planning. Okay? Thank you very much. Right. I think we now would go to on page 8, 261464, 67 Rosslyn Road, and that's the one that you have an interest in. Yeah. Are you the applicant or are you a neighbour?
The immediate next door neighbour.
Right, okay. Do you wish to speak and make some comment before?
Well, I have made comments on your website.
Yeah.
But I'm quite happy to talk those through.
Yeah.
So on their plans, I have no objection in principle to the extension, although it is rather large and out of character to the rest of the road. But that aside, on their plans, on the original plans, I can't quite see here. On the plans of the existing house to the left on the drive, they show one manhole cover. Yeah, that is outside of the boundary of the proposed extension, but there's two further manhole covers that they're not shown on that plan. One of them is further higher and to the left of the manhole cover that's shown, which will clearly be within the footprint of the build. The other missing manhole cover from that drawing is at the front of the drive. No, following that up in line, that is within the footprint of the proposed extension. Now they are shared drains and sewers. So my house is to the right as you're looking. So we've got two parallel drives. My drains come and sewers come out my house into those two manhole covers. One of them that's not there. And I'm concerned of protecting my drains and my sewage and make sure I get no disruption. Such an extension will take months. It's going to be more than just a few weeks, I'm guessing. And it's essential that my drainage and sewage is uninterrupted. And as I say, with shared drains, I want to make sure that they're going to be safe. I'm not sure what the laws are on shared drains and usage.
Yeah, I think again, this is a building control issue rather than a planning issue. We can only look at what we have here. But if there is concern, obviously that needs to be highlighted, obviously your concerns on the drainage issue. But I think I'm right in saying that it would be a building control issue again. So it needs the building inspectors to actually be aware of it. I mean, we can make the comment, but it's not something that we can make a view of at this meeting, because we are purely looking at the plans that we've been given. So I think, you know, although we can highlight it and then have a report that goes back to the borough, it's really what we've got to look at is the actual structure of the building itself and any concerns that the committee or yourself may have over the actual structure. So yours was only that was your main concern, or the only concern was the drainage issue.
The drain, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they missed out two essential manhole covers.
Right.
Or one particularly that will fall directly within their planned extension. They've admitted to show that.
Okay.
But I'll leave it up to you to decide why they've done that.
Okay, right. Yes, Karen.
Could I just ask the resident, have you spoken to the neighbour about those manhole covers as to if they know they're there?
They know they're there, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, they're clearly visible. They're not covered over. It's blatantly obviously they're there.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions?
I was just intrigued as to why the architects in drawing plans have done 1 to 100 for the existing plan and 1 to 50 on the proposed. Is it to shield the size of the extension?
I wouldn't know.
No.
Can I find out exactly where these drain manhole covers are? I can't quite see here. Can I point them out to you?
Yeah, okay.
Are they visible on, I want to wonder if I bring up Google Earth, whether you might be able to see them.
They are, yes. If you go back to some of the old pictures.
There's one there, is that right? So the resolution's not great on there, but you can see, I think the one on the drawing is there. There's one there.
Yeah, there's one there and there's one there. So
there's one there.
One here that was will fall within that because I live in the walkway outside.
Yeah.
One falls within the walkway. The others
will be in the
will
be under the
will be
building.
That one there, that one
And
there's
there's
the one.
one here as well. Now, if you look at the line of that, it comes straight up to here and the extension comes out, so the sewage pipes are obviously going across the extended plans as well.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So I just want to safeguard,
Your drains.
but yeah, my drains.
Yes, okay. Any other comments, any other observations? I think based on that, are we happy to recommend approval?
No,
Sorry,
I've got objection to that place as well.
sorry.
You did,
Yeah.
I've put in application of objection on that. The back, can we go back to the view of the next one where it was like, this here, that window, what I'm asking for, I know it's a bit harsh, but I've got no problem with the building.
Yeah.
But you see them windows at the top there?
Yeah.
Can they be frosted so they can't look down when I'm sunbathing? Because that will shine straight down to where I sit, or where I lay, I should say.
Velux windows or
That's,
something.
That, they're Velux, they are.
No, so the Velux one doesn't need because.
no, not the others, not the others, it's the bathroom,
on the
that
top.
bathroom. Them two windows there.
Yeah.
Can they be?
Well, they normally are on the bathroom.
Yeah, but can we emphasise that, please?
I don't think there's a problem there, but we could ask that they are obscure glass.
You're getting shy.
Well, I'm a bit shy when I'm laid down, I can look straight up. I've never had a problem, don't worry about the building, but I don't like people watching me.
You could maybe watch them out with their baths.
Well, that's it.
Works both ways.
I want to be peeping something into there.
Okay, we made, I mean, that's a valid point, so we can make that one. Thanks very much, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're all happy that we're happy to recommend approval with those comments having been made. Okay, thank you very much.
I've got the next.
Right,
What's
we
going to happen now?
right, we give our comments to the Wokingham Borough.
Yes.
The borough itself, the officers will make a decision, the planning officers will make a decision on this, and they will look at our comments, obviously, take those into consideration, and hopefully act upon them. From there, that's where it normally lies, so the officers will make that decision, whether or not they're going to approve it or not. There is a system by which it can go to a committee rather than just the planning officers making it. And that's for us to list it, or your local councillor to list it, so that instead of the officers at Wokingham Borough Council making the decision, it would be a committee of the councillors. And at that meeting, you could have the opportunity to speak against it or for it for whatever reason, and you could ask your councillor to do likewise. But I think on this one,
It's too late for that.
Oh, it is.
The consultation period ended on the 15th of July,
Oh, right,
so the
okay,
officer will be waiting for the comments from this committee before making a final recommendation and decision.
so in this case, it will be the officers who make the decision. So we send out, report back to the Wokingham Borough officers, they look at it, and then they make the decision.
Okay, decision be final?
Something like this, I think it would be pretty likely, but I mean, there is the opportunity to appeal against it, but it's a very expensive.
If they approve it, it will be final. If they refuse it, the applicant has the right of appeal. But residents and neighbours and consultees like the town council have no right to appeal against any decision, so.
And they can always, if they get refused, they can always change certain aspects to being acceptable.
Yeah, and Wokingham can also put constraints in an approval, so they could, for example, say it is approved, but you must put obscure glass in window X or something like that. They can put those little elements in to confirm things if they're happy with everything else. So yeah, it just, because it will be soon now and our comments will go in tomorrow morning, if you keep an eye, you should get notification via email from Wokingham Borough Council if you put comments in. But if you keep an eye over the next week, you'll see a decision will come up on there and the officer's report will go there and it'll explain the decision as well.
Okay.
Where would I find that? Sorry.
That will be on, so on Wokingham's website, the place that you put your comments on.
Yes.
If you find the application back on there, it's on that screen there. If you go down to
I'll be
view.
on that.
Yeah, if you go to view plans and documents, you'll see all of the comments that are made there. You'll see the officer report will pop up here and the decision notice and letters and stuff. Everything will be on there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. Enjoy your evening.
You're
Right,
welcome.
thank you.
You're welcome to stay. It's ever so exciting.
I will say, I've never been to one.
All right, okay.
I might sneak out.
Yes, yes. Okay, no, right, we will go back to the order of the agenda now. And the first one on the agenda is application 260810, 53 to 55 Crockenwell Road, full application for the proposed replacement windows at the first floor, including a new covered cycle store and refuge storage area. And I think, I had a look at this, I don't know, is there any issues at all?
How could I object to a covered cycle store?
Anybody have any problems with this one at all? I can see the hands.
No.
No? No, I didn't think there would be an objection to that one. Okay. So that one. Next one is 261245, 1 Hudson Road. Full application for a proposed one number dwelling, including new drop curb. This is on the corner of Austin and Hudson, I think, isn't it? Yeah, so it's next to number 1, a new build. Any comments at all on this one? Yes, Carol.
Sorry. Me. It always begs the question, when there's obviously plenty of room for dwelling there, as to why the builder didn't put one there in the first place. Because they're not averse to making more money when they build an estate. And I just wonder what it is that actually prevented that from happening. There's no pylon or wires going across that, as far as I can see. And maybe there is a problem with drainage or underground works, but so whilst I have no objection, I'm just being a little bit cynical,
Curious.
I think. Yes.
Yeah. That's mind you, that was quite some time ago, and then the property of those would be what, 60, 50s, 60s?
56.
Late 60s, I think, yes. Yeah.
Perhaps they weren't as shrewd in those days. Any other comments? Any objections?
What's the green spider's web there then? So that's not a tree cover, is it?
Is there a tree there?
Yeah.
So it's a tree, doesn't it?
So that won't be impacted, will it? I didn't think there was a big tree there.
Take the route there, it's quite a distance, isn't it? I don't know what the tree is.
It's where the branches go, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's on communal ground, isn't it? Community ground rather. Yeah. No. Any problems? Any objections? We have to go with approval? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And onward, 261379, 1 Mohawk Way. Household application for proposed single-storey rear extension and garage and porch conversion, including internal alterations. So 261379. Draw that one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any concerns? Any problems with this one? No. No. All happy with that? Okay. Onward and upward. Right. This one is 261391, 31 Spruce Road. Householder application for proposed single-storey rear extension. I will mention that I live at number 30. 31 is not a neighbour, not a close neighbour. It's across the road, further down the road. The house is just being sold. I don't know the people. I've no contact with them at all. But all I know is the house is there.
So you'd be interested in
Well, no, but I thought, well, as I'm living in the same road, and mine is number 30 and this one's number 31, I thought I should just mention, but I know nothing of, them or the house.
I've got no objection with
No,
it.
no. Any problems at all with this one? No. Okay. And 261437, 53 Austin Road, householder application for the proposed erection of an outbuilding to rear. The building, this is retrospective, wasn't it? This one, was this a retrospective one? No, it wasn't, was it? Or was it? No. The only thing is it's at 2.8 metres high. I don't know, you know, it's quite a height, so it is.
It's about 9 feet.
Yeah, yeah,
Very, very high. That's
yeah,
precisely what I put.
yeah,
And it's really the minimum distance of a metre from the back fence,
yeah, yeah.
where it's positioned to aggravate the people at the back without affecting the owner.
Yeah. What would we, is it enough for us to recommend refusal because of the height? Is there what's the height that's allowed on these buildings?
I don't think there is a stipulate. I think it depends on the impact,
Right.
because you could have a 3 metre high building in the middle of a field, and if it didn't impact anybody, then, you know.
We got the brick plan is there, isn't it?
I'm concerned about the resident in Fitzroy Crescent that's going to suffer from that. They're not going to, they've shoved it at the bottom of the garden,
Yeah.
but somebody else, don't know where the sun.
Would they have had
direction.
notification of this?
I was going to ask Matt if we'd sent.
They will,
anything.
anyone that shares a boundary will receive a notification automatically. So it would have been those 2 properties there. We would have sent a letter. I'd have to check which ones we sent. We tried to send it to the ones that where it might be visible from their back garden. But that likely would be the same people in this respect.
Right. Well, we've had no formal objections from them, so based on that, do we go with approval? Or do we make the comment of the excessive height of the building that's a concern?
I suspect it's a modular building and they've just bought one off the shelf and
Yeah.
well, not literally, but and that's kind of standard. Looking at the person in the doorway, it doesn't look that high unless they're very, very tall. So, well, it's not a person, is it? So
There was one with a person,
must go to
wasn't there?
Specsavers. It's just in the centre of the
I think it
door.
was another drawing, wasn't it, with the person?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But 2.8 metres is approximately 9 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's 3 feet above the fence line.
Hmm.
But if we hadn't had any objections from the rear
That's
neighbour,
Yeah,
um,
so no objection? Or do we just make a comment that we are concerned about the heights? So should we make that comment, do you think?
I think there should be comment because in another case, Barrow sent letters, but neighbors just ignored. And when that thing was materialized,
That's the trouble, isn't it? They ignore
Yes.
it, they're better off.
then they started contacting councillors and officers.
Yeah, I mean, we're saying that the present owners have no comment, no objections, but then if they sell their property and then somebody else moves in, they're stuck with it, aren't they?
they can see it before they move in.
Well, yeah, so they don't buy it.
And having had it happen to me, with the person at the back, it is very aggravating and it takes a long time to cover it up.
Yeah.
Because there are obviously other outbuildings
In the area.
in the area, but you're not going to know how big they are. And some of them will be pitched, and the pitch could be
Yeah.
2.8. Or obviously not permitted
I
development.
think, you know, we ought to make the comment that we are concerned about the height of the building and its close proximity to the boundary.
Close proximity to the boundary.
Yeah,
It's less than a metre on both of the left and right hand side, however you
If
wish.
you brought it in 3 metres, it wouldn't have the same impact on the.
oh, well, coming in from the boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That one. And we'll go on.
Mr. Chair,
To-
could we ask a separate question about the heights of these outbuildings, because we do keep getting them. I don't know if we could,
So it's
if we could write to
a
the
legal
planning.
height or
Yeah,
a
not just for this one, but in general.
No,
There won't be any stipulation because you could obviously build a two-storey
Mm,
outbuilding if you
Yeah.
so wished, but you would just have to get planning permission.
yeah,
So
that's
you would only be
true.
talking about height in terms of permitted development if there is a height under which
Yeah,
you would have permitted
No, you're
development. But
right.
this is a full planning application. It may very well be the reason this has gone on full planning is because of the height or the distance from boundaries and stuff like that, that it doesn't fall under permitted. So
I think I'm right in saying permitted developments is 2.5 metres.
Don't know.
what, from the boundary? Or
No.
sorry, the height,
Height.
yeah.
But then you are allowed a small amount extra for the roof.
Yeah. But I think we can just make the comment that we
Yeah.
are concerned with its close proximity to the boundary, the actual overall height. Yeah.
just trying to get some information. The maximum height for permitted development outbuildings on class E under permitted development is generally 2.5 metres if the outbuilding is within 2 metres of the boundary of the curtilage of the dwelling house. So it might very well be because it's over 2.5 metres and it is within 2 metre boundary. That is why it's had to go to full planning.
Yes.
Whereas in
Yeah.
a different plot with more
So you're
space.
already picking up that issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's coming.
Yeah.
It's whether you think the height is going to impact neighbours negatively around the area. And that's to try and give you an image of where. Yeah, where it will be on the plot. It'll be right there.
Mm.
And there's quite a lot of trees kind of in that. You wouldn't be able to tell what that foliage is at the back of their plot.
Okay, but that's our only concern, so, and obviously, Wokingham have picked up on it to make it a planning application rather than permitted. Right. 261459, 15 Pearson Way, household application.
Sorry, you missed one there,
Oh, this one.
2454, number 4.
Oh, yeah, what's it? Oh, right. Yeah, 261454, 24 Nimrod Close. Household application for the proposed conversion of the existing integral garage into habitable accommodation to be used as a study with replacement of the existing garage door with matching fenestration and associated alterations to the front elevation. So basically, it's turning the garage into habitable accommodation. Any problems with that? No? Anything at all? No? Everybody? Okay, fine, thanks very much. Now we go back, 261459, 15 Pearson Way, household application for the proposed conversion of existing garage to create habitable accommodation plus changes to fenestration. Again. Any comments on this one? It's again, just a use of garage into habitable accommodation, no? No, everybody okay? Right. Where am I? Where's myself?
261466.
Yeah. 261466, 239 London Bridge Road. Household application for proposed erection of a single-storey rear extension and 1 number roof lantern. Don't think I had any. Make any comments? No, I didn't seem to have any problems with that one. Anything at all? No. Everybody happy with that one? And 261519, 26 Leyburn Close, household application for proposed erection of a single-storey rear and side extension. Where are we? Block plan. Yeah. It actually doesn't extend beyond any more than 25, does it? Building. It's an infill otherwise, isn't it? Any problems with that one?
Couldn't they, are there any windows facing onto number 15? Because they haven't gone back that far any closer.
that roof?
I think it's, I don't
I couldn't work it out.
know, and I don't know if they'll, let's have a look. I'm just going to see what the existing elevations show. They don't show the neighbouring property,
No.
so you can't see what is on that
Mm.
wall.
Otherwise, I don't have a problem with it.
Got the information you've got. So everybody okay with that one? Yeah. And 261-531-137 London Bridge Road, household application, proposed erection of one number detached outbuilding plus double rear gates. This is retrospective. I think there was one neighbour's comment to say that the gates have always been there. Did you see that? Yeah, so it's not something that is new as far as the gate's concerned. Yes?
Yeah, I reported this to, I asked the enforcement officer to look at this, which has now brought this planning application. It wasn't so much the gates, because I think they have probably been there, but as you can see, there's no access across the verge, no proper built access. So what you've got, and there's, when I took photographs earlier on in the year, there was huge tire marks right the way across the verge. I don't know whether there's a business being run there or not. I don't know, so I can't comment on that. But I'd like to comment on the fact that there may be gates and access, but there is no access across highway land. It's just across that verge.
I think that's marked as storage, isn't it? The whole building on this one, was it on the drawings?
The outbuilding,
Storage.
yes.
So there's obviously, well, likely to be vehicles going.
I know they have skip lorries coming in, and they reverse up. They go across the other verge, churn that up, and then they reverse over that verge. So it is a problem.
Doesn't want to make a point of vehicle access across community land again, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you want to object on those grounds?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a planning reason.
This what's right?
I'm not sure that it's a planning reason to object on those grounds.
Driving across amenity land is,
yes. Could argue that the gates lead to nowhere, and therefore we were concerned about that.
yeah.
Are they just to be, sort of visually impressive, or?
Sorry, that's a block plan. What's here?
That's with the hammerhead in front of the bungalows at the close there.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah. So.
So they drive across the pavement, across the verge, into the hammerhead.
Yeah.
So actually, so it means there is no access to pick up anything from the.
No.
Well, they make an access, but there isn't a built access, no.
Is the is the parking to the front?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the parking is to the front, and they've okay. Don't know when that image was from, but the outbuilding and the gates don't exist.
I think we don't need to say that we object, refuse, or whatever, but just make the comment about the access from the gates to the road.
To the road.
This doesn't exist.
That access to the road from the gates. Yeah. But otherwise. No problem? No? Yeah. Okay. And 261532, which is 89 London Bridge Road, household application, proposed installation of a dropped curb forming access to the front of the property. Any problems with this one? No? No. Okay. Well, that's the planning application. You're right with that? I think you've got everything you need. Right. Okay. Planning decisions on page 9. I didn't have a chance to have a look, see how we did. So on the first one, they refused, contrary to our recommendations, and that was Charville, Wangels Road, Charville. Approved contrary to council's recommendations. Land and garages, the northeast side of Headley Road, Woodley. Members of that. You remember this one? Because I don't think I was on this one.
It was taught to us, the 6-point term, whatever.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
But clearly the highways officer can do it, so.
And the backside and way. Planning committee consider the application determined to object on the grounds that the proposal will leave insufficient off-street parking for the property. So that one got approved as well.
I think the next one, the Hurricane Way, is a concern because we often make the comment, do not, build on amenity lands, that needs to be kept. But what the officer's saying here is it's considered to be underutilised, left unkept and littered, and therefore it's okay to build on it, and that's a concern.
Well, it's amenity land and it's unkept and not looked after, that's down to the council itself, and it seems a bit strange. Right. Approved, well, all these others were approved, endorsing our recommendations, which was quite a number. Won't need to go through all those, I don't think. Okay. Where are we? Planning decisions, enforcement notices. Page 12. Anything on there that we are?
There is.
Yep.
137 Lovenbridge Road, the one with the gates. Running business without planning permission.
Interesting. Yes, yeah. So this is a live case. We don't know what the outcome of that is. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because it will determine what they're using the gates for. All right. Woodlands Avenue, Crockenwell Road, the parade. 2 click and collect facilities without permission. Oh. That's one of these parcel collections then, is it? I wonder who's put that up there without permission. It must be one of the major courier companies then that's done that, isn't it? Normally they
Also, one of the shops, yeah, they'll.
Yeah. Woodlands Avenue. 72 Crockenwell Road. Untidy site. Right. Recently closed. Application. Enforcement notice due to be served. 43 Hagg Road. Tree removal without permission. No breach.
How do they enforce?
Sorry?
How do they enforce a tree
tree?
removal?
Yeah, I don't know. You put it back.
It's on someone's fire at the moment.
Yeah. But I mean, they can make a fine against it, can't they? And then they fine them, don't they, for tree removal? So there would be a penalty. That's as far as they can go, I should think. And ask him to plant something in its space. So I think that's what they did, wasn't it, with Tesco's at Battle Hospital? They took all the trees out. Tesco said, terribly sorry. Paid the fine and put the trees back in where they wanted them. Right. Okay. Where are we? Tree preservation orders. To know the following ones. Anything of concern to us there? Both Cartmel Drive and Highgate Road, Whitecliff Close. Anything of interest there for us? No. And transport and highways, community watch. Is that this? We keep updating the council's committees. What do you think? Do we know where we are with this now?
Councillor Taylor's last response to this committee was that until the work on the safer cycle routes is finished, there she won't be placing any focus on the speed watch activities.
And highways issues. Any highways issues that we need to comment on? No? Omitted planning applications. To note, the following planning applications were omitted from the agenda. Committee meeting held on the 16th of June. These were later circulated to members for comment and following comments. So we dealt with all of those. Yeah, all done. Woodford Park Leisure Centre flat. To note, the council has submitted the following planning application in relation to the flat at Woodford Park Leisure Centre, and that the consultation period ended on the 6th of July. Do you have any?
Yeah, I can update on that. I received late this afternoon a refusal on that planning application, so we're looking at to appeal against that.
What was the reviews?
So the purpose was change of use from dwelling to leisure centre.
Right.
And that was considered contrary to CP3, the core working in core policy, and chapter 5 of the NPPF in terms of
So how do we appeal?
net loss of the dwellings, essentially.
How do we appeal against it if it's contrary to that?
There is some evidence of that elsewhere,
Right.
and particularly in terms of the fact that it's alternative uses for public service.
Right.
In terms of the leisure centre.
It would rather be dependent on housing stock in the area and whether a single dwelling being lost is actually significant in terms of impacting Woking's ability to his day.
Is there any cost to us in an appeal?
No.
Appeals free.
Only if you engage it.
Yeah.
Someone to
Robin.
There's a precedent because the other meeting we agreed to get, or they agreed to get rid of the one at Bournemouth School and change it into a classroom, didn't they? And they've also done that at Wangels in the past. The caretaker's cottage became a preschool or something.
Yes,
So it's if I wasn't what's the word? It's almost like Woking being vindictive against Woodley, isn't it? Allegedly.
Yeah. What would
But yeah, there's already a precedent. So yeah, that should be mentioned in the appeal. They've agreed it for two other places in Woodley. They should do it for the leisure centre as well.
Yeah. Okay, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, well, sort of update
Yeah.
the committee on that as we go forward.
Okay. Right, lost myself again. Local plan, is that what we're on now? You want it? Lost myself. That's very highways, a minute. Right, sorry, yeah. Right, those, would publish a set of flat application, yeah, thank you, and we'll go over. Local plan, call for site. Call for sites has been instituted on the part of Woking Borough Council's initial preparation to local plan, inviting landowners, developers, sites they believe may be appropriate for development. Members are asked to consider the response to this. Have we had notification of what may be on that list?
It's no. This is very provisional. So this is the very first call for sites for potential development as part of the local plan for 2045. So so it's very early days, and it's the very first call. So it's for any interested party to make recommendations, any developers, landowners, councils to suggest any sites within their area that they think might be suitable for development. So it's for this council to consider whether there's any sites, doesn't have to be sites we necessarily own, but if there's any sites or blocks of land that we think might be appropriate, then we have an opportunity to do that. We have also advised all councillors of this call for a site, so people can do it individually as well. But this is on behalf of the council if you think there's anywhere.
Really, I mean, this is deadline is 1st of September.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time, but don't think I can think of any. I did one at Hudson Road on the car park one time. That was a call for site. Did you remember that? A little piece of car parking alongside Hudson Road shops.
I don't know what they wanted to put on there, or they thought they could put on there, but never mind. Right, community issues, to highlight and discuss any recent community issues noted by members. Anything at all in the community? No. Publications and newsletters. We've had Promise Inclusion newsletter for June 2026. Future agenda items. Any agenda items that we think should be included? No.
Bill, sorry, community issues going back.
Yeah.
I think I ought to announce it. Kevin received a letter from the post office this morning, confirming that the post office is to close on the 19th of August. And Morrison's 2 days afterwards, on the 21st of August. So in 1 month's time, or less than 1 month's time, we will have no post office.
So we're losing the one at Morrison's in Woodley.
Yeah, I mean, certainly they do say they're in talks with someone about taking it over, but that's as far as it is.
And just to know, we will publicise that. Yeah, to residents as well for
Yeah,
information.
I mean, I should bring it up at tomorrow night's town centre management committee, because obviously that will have a direct bearing on the request for a banking hub.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, publicity and website, any items to be published by the council? Anything at all? No? Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending. Good night to you all.
Thanks, Bill. Bye, everyone.
All right.